and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another edition of the HomeStory Cup 26 Group Stage Replay Cast. I'm, of course, HSCXXVI VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in the chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome one and all. Last night, we were live, of course, with Group A of HomeStory Cup, and now we're here with Group B. Oh boy. And also, of course, once again, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's, everyone. Happy New Year's. I know. Now we're in day 2, you know, 2nd of January, but I think still the 1st in a couple of areas of the world. So regardless, you know, Happy New Year nonetheless, as we do dive into some matches that were otherwise uncasted. For those that are curious what this broadcast even is, hold up, wasn't HomeStory Cup a month ago? Weren't you live with it at the time? That is all true. HomeStory Cup was at the beginning of December of technically last year, and we were the official B stream. At the time, there was the main stream, there was the B stream. We were live, main stream was live, we're casting, of course, covering all the matches, at least all that we could, but something that was happening at the time was that we only had 2 English streams, and in the group stage, there were 3 matches happening at the same time. So the way that math works out, basically a third of the group stage was not casted. A third of the group stage was just not broadcasted, at least in English. I'm sure some of the other language streams would maybe jump on them here or there to cover some of those matches, if they were following certain players, for sure. But at least in English, those matches were not broadcasted. So after the fact, I did want to take the initiative to actually go in and cover those matches here on the channel to make sure that at least I got some kind of coverage. And so far I'm pretty happy. Well, I'm very happy, very satisfied with that decision, because last night we had some crazy games. We had some crazy games, some very close, very intense matches featuring mainly Battle B, also other players as well. Battle B up against Skillus, up against Nightmare, up against Lambo as well. We had some amazing matches, and I was very impressed with Battle B's performance. And again, I would have otherwise not have seen those matches if we didn't cover the replays, and we are looking to do the same here with Group B. With Group B and with Group C, we won't be going as in-depth into Group D, just because at the time, Group D's matches were actually short, so they were actually very fast games in Group D. And what that meant was that as we were wrapping up our matches that we were designated, we had the freedom to jump into the otherwise uncasted matches at the time in Group D. So we actually casted like double the amount. we did a lot more casting for Group D than we were supposed to, just because the games are fast. So with that, we got a little bit lucky. So we actually casted most of Group D live at the time, but A, B, and C less so. And now we can have a look at, we can switch the scenes over and have a look at the matches coming up ahead of us. Let's go. Let us go. And here we go. Tonight we have 5 best of 3s here. We have Maru versus Moja in a TvT. We got Showtime versus Geralt in a PvP. Showtime versus Moja, Spirit versus Kelazur, and Cyril versus Jumi. 5 best of 3s are ahead of us. We're gonna be going through and diving into each and every one of them here. And honestly, I'm excited. I'm always excited to cast some Moja. Moja, he is a player that actually debuted in HomeStory Cup 25, or I mean, quote-unquote debuted. Moja has been around, a competitor in the European region for a long time, on the ladder I should say, but Moja rarely played in any online events or any tournaments in general, and Moja dipped his toes last year during HomeStory Cup 25 in the competitive field for the first time, and he did very well. You know, it was a really strong debut for him. He got a lot of fans, myself included. We were all very impressed, and ever since then, you know, once you get a taste of that competitive field, you want more, you crave for more, and Moja has been more active in these online tournaments. So it's been great to see Moja kind of have that competitive flair in him sparked, and now he's back for the next HomeStory Cup. Let's go again. Typically, HomeStory Cup, they do try to feature local talent as best they can, you know, with players like Battle B, like Moja. Of course, they're heavy hitters like your Showtimes, your Hero Marines as well, your Lambos, of course. But even some of the other, you know, kind of tier below players. Jimmy as well is among them. But we are here to broadcast them and bring you their matches. Let's go. So we do have quite a number of mirror matchups, and not a lot of Zerg matchups here, but of course we're going to be featuring several at the end of the broadcast. And this is not the only broadcast we have tonight, or we have today. In 12 hours time, Jesus, in 12 hours time, we're going to be live once again with the Lil League Cup qualifiers. We did go into it last night, but there is another big major event happening in January, not just Masters Coliseum, which is over the weekend, but during the weekday we have HomeStory Cup, which I believe has a 7,000 USD prize pool, so a pretty hefty prize pool for an online tournament, and the qualifiers did begin over the weekend. We weren't able to cast the Asia qualifiers, but we will be casting the global qualifier and the Europe/Americas qualifier as well. So that qualifier is going to be in 12 hours, so we have 2 casts today, and I'll most likely try to nap in between. I say most likely, I also want to ladder a little bit, I also want to stream, I should say, so depending on how fast this broadcast is, I might hop on over to my own personal channel and we'll have a cheeky ladder session and enjoy some, or we'll smudge with some StarCraft, then I'll go to bed, I'll sleep the smudge away, then bam, we can cast again. That's the plan. That is the plan. For now, though, we have our first matchup, our first TvT. Let us go. It's catching up in the chat. Bets on no bets, no bets. No gamba, no gamba. I apologize. If you're here for the gamba, you're not gonna get it. Not gonna get the gamba. Oh, here we go. Catching up. Happy New Year. Yes. The games are fast, and so are you, light. Excuse me. What were you trying to say, Einstein? Oh my god. As we're getting into our first series of the night, or of the day, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the German Terran player. We have the Red Terran. It is the up-and-comer himself, Moja. And going for a proxy. Hello, and spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, one of the heavy hitters in this group, representing Team Vitality. It is Maru. Well, hello. So the proxy has been thrown down. Moja sending out not just one SCV, but a second SCV as well. So it looks like proxy 2x Reaper, and actually it's quite far away here. So if we were seeing proxy 2x Reaper, typically it's going to be closer to the cliff face coming into the main, so this may be proxy Marauder instead. Again, proxy Marauder has kind of risen in popularity over the past year of play. We'll see if we throw down Tech Labs and get into Marauder production and commit into the all-in. Oh boy, starting things off spicy, pappy, spicy. Institutions live, miss between 1/3, 2/3. So good idea to show this out now. Yeah, for sure, 100%. Just to reiterate, and I mean, it makes sense, we will not be casting, well, obviously we're not going to be recasting the games that we casted live at the time. Also, we're not going to be casting the games that were broadcasted on the main stream, so we're specifically targeting the matches that were not broadcasted. And there it is, Proxy Marauder. The Tech Labs have been thrown down, and the Marauders are going to be on the way. We're going to be pulling a couple of SCVs, or we'll have these SCVs help support as well, and it's going to be all or nothing for Moja. Now, Maru, he does SCV scout. He does SCV scout. He confirms the Rax is missing. He confirms the one gas opener. He confirms there is no expansion either. So Maru, he's aware that something is wrong, and back at home, bunkers. Now, bearing in mind, there's a bunker at the ramp. There's also a second bunker here at the Reaper Cliff. So Maru, he is getting ready for a Reaper defense. Likewise, he's checking the natural base, looking for any kind of setup. Factories on the way. Getting into Helium production, of course. So Maru, he's aware that something is wrong, something is amiss. He's preparing for any kind of defense, and these are resources that are otherwise not going to be necessary. Oh, does he spot the Marauder? Oh, he may have just caught a glimpse, and now he knows for certain. There we go, he's in position. Ideally, Moja wanted to catch the Reaper out in the open. Concussive Shell is done. If he got one shot off on that Reaper, the Reaper would have gone down, but quick moves out of Maru, he does pull away in time, and Moja, he abandons his proxy back at home, CC on location. And he's racing back. He's racing back home here. He has recognized that he cannot break his opponent. Maru, he is very well fortified, very well set up. Maru's got his own CC on the way, and the game will continue from here. How many Marauders are built? Just one. Just one Proxy Marauder. Wait, Concussive Shell was cancelled. My apologies. So there was a cancellation. Basically, if Maru didn't SCV scout, and it is not unheard of to skip SCV scouts, especially amongst the Korean Terran players, so it is not uncommon whatsoever, but Maru did scout. because he scattered Moja, he's already racing back home, already transitioning. And this wasn't the biggest commitment, especially because there was a cancellation on the upgrade and because it was only a single Marauder being built. Likewise, Maru was forced to respond as well. He was forced to delay his own CC, forced into all these bunkers, into his own inefficient start. That is a very fast third CC though, and this makes sense. Maru, he knows that he's behind, or he is behind where he would like to be, I should say, as his CC was delayed, so he's rushing to a third base, cutting corners, being greedy. So very fast third CC here from Maru. Gonna try to catch back up economically. Meanwhile, across the map, Moja getting into a 2-1-1 setup. Playing very safe. Getting into Cyclone production. With this, he's gonna be secure against any kind of Banshee play, any kind of Banshee harass. Likewise, drop play as well. So Moja is being secure, and Maru, he's settling in. Getting into his own tank production, his own Raven production as well. Something that we did feature here during HomeStory Cup was Maru versus Ryung in a TvT, and that TvT is going to live rent-free in my brain for years to come. If you missed out on the VODs, everything's on YouTube. It's all on YouTube, so I do recommend watching Maru versus Ryung, especially the game on Ultra Love. It was crazy. And speaking of Ultra Love, we could be here for quite some time. I was looking forward to potentially a shorter game one with the proxy, but as we get further and further into Ultra Love is known for how defensive it is. It is very defendable, very fortifiable. You have these choke points coming into the third, coming into the fourth. Likewise, you have a very defendable position here at the fifth base as well. It is very common to cut the map in half. Just completely cut the map in half. It isn't just these base locations, but here as well we have all these points of elevation, choke points, ramps, these narrow bridges as well. It is so difficult to actually get past the halfway mark on this map, especially in TvT. And I was alluding to it, we saw a lot of TvTs at HomeStory Cup. I mean, that was the meme at the time. If you were here a month ago, you would remember, you know, that the introduction to the hashtag Terran patch and the non-stop TvTs at HomeStory Cup with Gumiho, with Clem, with Maru, with Ryung, and there were some good matches though, is what I will say, especially on this map. And I am potentially alluding to that happening here as well. Might be in for a long one. We'll see. Of course, with Maru rushing into the third CC, we're going to be embracing the economy. We're going to be slowing things down, getting to our three bases, potentially a fourth base from there. There's no major sign of aggression yet from Maru. Meanwhile, across map, Moja likewise is throwing down extra racks, so no mech. That's the first big sign that we should emphasize here. No mech from either player. Thankfully, bio tank. It's going to be bio tank from Maru and bio tank from Moja as well. Getting into stim, getting into combat shields. As the Cyclone is going to be hunted down. And Maru is now establishing his third. Checking the vision here, I believe Moja did not scan. Yeah, there was no scan. Moja has no idea what's going on. The problem here for Moja is that he doesn't know how greedy Maru has been. And if he was aware, he would be much more assertive, much more aggressive. He'd be in the face to delay the third base for as long as possible. Moja is in the dark. Now going to be landing his own third. Alas, Maru has taken a worker lead. I mean, Moja wasn't too far behind with his own third base timing. And we're just gearing up on three bases. And we'll see who's going to be the aggressor initially. Checking the army composition, both players are on 3 Ravens. Moja has a slight tank lead over his opponent. Maru is going to be the first to move out. And of course, there's a lot of power here in these Ravens. Interference Matrix has been researched. And even if you have a tank lead, that may not matter with these Ravens. And Maru scans ahead of time, does spot the tanks. There's 2 of them. And here comes the disable. He gets 1. Clutch on siege out of Moja. Doesn't siege in time, does pull away at all, but there's a second disable. Auto charges get thrown down, and Maru, he breaks through. Oh, I say that. Nice auto charge response here out of Moja. He does save one of his tanks, but Maru, he just ignores the tank line, goes straight for the middle line. SVs are going down. There's another auto turret, and Maru, he is breaking Moja here and now. A very decisive move out. And again, the power of the Raven. Doesn't matter if you have a tank line in TvT. GG gets called, and Maru, he takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played again. Very decisive play there out of Maru. We were alluding to how defendable and how you can cut the map in half. That is true. I stand by that. But, you know, that is why Ravens are so critical and so pivotal in the early game of TvT. As you can break through those siege lines, you can try to abuse, you know, that Raven advantage, that positional play, of course. And Maru did find a way through. Unfortunately, we saw that Moja, he was caught with his pants down a little bit. If you remember, despite having 2 tanks, only one of them was sieged, the other was caught out in the open, and it made for a bit of an awkward defense there, and Maru did break through. GG. GG, well played. Maru does take a lead in the series, and now we are getting ready for game number 2. It's going to be on ley lines. And I'm curious to see how our player is going to approach this. Remember, Moja did attempt a proxy in game 1, but he got scouted, or I should say Maru played safe after scouting. So we'll see if he tries to proxy again. We'll see if Maru attempts a proxy instead. I mean, it's TvT, it's Maru, anything is possible. Here we go, we're getting into game 2 and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of ley lines. We have the German Terran player. We have the red Terran down in the series, but we'll see if he can bounce back. See what he has in store for us. It is Moja from Germany. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the blue Terran player representing Team Vitality from land of South Korea at HomeStory Cup for the first time. It is Maru. Here we go. Just catching up in the chat. Who were qualified for the Asia qualifier for the $7,000 online tournament? The qualified players, if I remember correctly, was Shin, Solar, and there was a third player. Shin, Solar, and Gumiho. So 2 Zerg players and a Terran player. He's referring to the Lulu Cup. So that was Shin, Solar, so 2 Zergs and a Terran so far. That was the Asia qualifier. That was on, I believe that was on Christmas Eve. No, sorry, that was on New Year's Eve, I think. New Year's Eve, or maybe the 30th of December. Tonight is the European/Americas qualifier, and I believe tomorrow is the global qualifier. So 3 qualifiers, as a heads up. Here we go. OSC Championship is something different, correct? Yes. We will be casting a little bit of OSC Championship. Typically, when it comes to the OSC events, Wardy has priority. Just as a heads up. Oh, as we're settling in. Double gas opener at a Moja and a single gas at a Maru. What does that mean? Faster expansion. So Maru, he does take the faster CC, so he will have an economic start. Meanwhile, Moja will have the faster factory, and I'm sure that's why he threw down the spray with the scout. So Moja is going to be a little bit more assertive here. Not all in. He's going for a later CC, a later expansion, as we settle into game number 2. Let's go. Maru pulling one of his SCVs. The purpose here is for this SCV to tank a shot to allow him to win a trade with a Reaper versus Reaper in a Reaper versus Reaper battle. Oh, speaking of, so far so good. Again, the SCV does zone the Reaper away. CC gets delayed, and Maru, he gets what he wanted. Both players lose 1 worker, but Moja, his CC is going to be delayed that much more. So a better trade for Maru. He gets the hell out of here. He races back home. A nice little start here for our blue Terran. But yeah, what I was getting at for the OC Championship is typically there's there's kind of like a hierarchy of priority. Usually Wardy, he's going to be covering it. If there's ever a day that Wardy isn't available, that's where some of the other casters can step in, like ourselves or Chicken Man or Dave Testa or Steadfast, for example. Currently, I believe we are going to be casting one of the qualifiers for the OC Championships. I believe we're going to be covering Bracket D. It's going to be next week. Next week, we're going to be covering Bracket D. When it comes to the main event itself, I don't know if we're going to be casting any of it. It's a little bit too soon to tell, but I would say at least it's a safe assumption to go over to Wardy's channel for the main event, for the main OSC event. We might end up casting like one of the early days, but for now, only Group D, or sorry, Bracket D. Referring to the OSC Championship. Better get some sleep soon. Buenas noches, buenas noches. Lily. Yeah, Lily. Oh, good, oh, good. Yeah, oh, the StarCraft. I mean, it's fine. It was the early. It's like the early game of TvT, so nothing crazy was happening outside of the initial delay on the command center, outside of the economic start of Maru. That's why Maru has a slight economic lead. You can see 34 SCVs to 30 workers of his opponent. It may not look like a lot, but in a mirror matchup, when you have the same tools as your opponent, it is a pretty substantial advantage from Maru, and the pressure is on Moja to get some economic damage done. Meanwhile, behind this, 3rd CC. Fast 3rd CC once again out of Maru. We saw something similar last game, where he was able, I mean, last game was different, to rush into a faster 3rd base. Once again, 3rd CC here for Maru. And we'll see if Moja throws down extra axes or throws down his own 3rd as well. As we are settling in. Building up Ravens, working towards interference matrix. Likewise, Raven production from Moja as well. 3rd base has been thrown down. It is a little bit later compared to the 3rd base of Maru, but not by too much. So both players are expanding, both players once again building up towards that mid game. But we saw how decisive Maru could be here coming into the mid game. And again, if you leave an opening, if you leave yourself vulnerable, then Maru, he will abuse that, he will find that, and he will take advantage of that. So again, the pressure is on Moja. Pressure's on Maju. God. It's okay, the names are different enough where I haven't mixed them up yet. Not like this. Yo, it's too early for this back. It's as both players are settling in. Once again, Biotank. Thankfully, no second factory, no investment into mech. Both players are working in similar directions. Building up their respective armies. Yeah, we like SC2 questions around here. Yeah. We're here for the StarCraft. Always, always. As Maru's getting his 3rd base. Moja's is still in production. So again, Maju maintains... Sorry, Maju. God damn it. No. So Maru, he maintains that economic advantage. And with that, that's going to lead into a slightly larger army. I jinxed myself earlier, Pappy. No. Not like this. Not like this. I'm gonna drink some water. I need to hydrate. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, these Terran players are all the same. As Moja's settling in. Ooh, we do see Maru's going to be the first to move out. Once again, does move out. He's got his 3 Ravens ready. This time we do see Moja is pre-sieged. He's set up here behind his 3rd. Army gets spotted. Thankfully, Moja did have some spotted Reapers even. Does respond, does rotate. Moja, he's keeping up. Maru scans ahead of time, spots the main army. He rotates as well. Moja moves out of Marine. Does spot Maru. So once again, it's all about that positional play. Moja trying to keep up. He scans, spots the army, does siege in time. Maru stims in. Does go for the stim, disables a connect. Massive anti-armor missile as well. Oh, and Maru, does he have enough to break through? Can he get on top of the tanks? Barely not. There's a 4th tank behind this. Moja, he holds. Very tense engagement. Again, there was a lot of positional play, a lot of back and forth scanning and rechecking. Moja does hold in time despite the triple disables. There was still a 4th tank behind all of that, and Moja does not lose a single tank. Oh no! He gets caught out. Does get caught out. Oh, we have the counter disables. Yeah, Moja takes the fight. He does catch both tanks. Very nicely done. Moja catching out Maru instead. Without Maru, he has to race back, falling back here to the high ground, to the ramp. Moja, I believe, still has energy to work with on those Ravens. Maru still being active, playing with fire. Yeah, those Ravens are barely alive, but important that they are still kicking. They can still impact the next fight. And behind this, Maru takes a 4th. 4th CC's on the way. Maru rotating. Moja is enjoying a tank lead. And he does spot the drop. Oh, is a little bit late to respond. It was a little bit out of position. Maru, he dives into the mineral line. And is going to get a handful of SCVs. Ooh, medevac goes down. But he gets 4 workers. Not bad. Moja backing off. Both armies scanning, looking for each other. Maru dropping back into the natural. Moja, he pulled away. Maru trying to get more CVs. Okay, he can now trade the Marines. Takes down the depots. Nice pickups. Yeah, 2 depots. The gas geyser as well. And again, Maru, he has medevacs. Medevacs, they were late for Moja. Maru, he picks up, gets the hell out of here. Gets 6 more CVs as well. Very nice trade. Moja gets supply blocked. The supply block is brutal. This one move here, the drop play of Maru, just pulling Moja apart. Picking him off. And Maru's going to be the first to max out. He's up 40 supply. And Moja still supply blocked. Oh, God. He's throwing down more depots. There we go. Still supply blocked. Actually, finally trying to break out. And Maru, he's going to overwhelm. And again, honestly, the winning move here would be just that drop, sniping those depots, getting SCV kills, and disrupting the macro of Moja. As Maru, he stems in. No, the on siege. Tanks, they on siege. Maru, he breaks through. Here come the mass disables. Oh, disabling all 4 tanks here. Just 1 tank coming into play, gets started down. GG gets called, and Maru, he breaks through. He will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played, Maru. He will take it. An impressive performance there out of Maru, but a shout out to Moja, especially here in game 2. We had some nice moves out of him. Unfortunately, though, he was not able to keep up with the drop play of Maru. Again, so much about TvT is about not just positional play, but map awareness and map vision. Unfortunately, Moja, he didn't quite have anything in position to spot the medevacs and to spot the drop play. As a result, he was late to respond to it, and it did do quite a lot of damage. And that supply block was brutal. It did mean that Moja, he was stuck at 140 supply for minutes there, and that led into the eventual move out, the eventual push, led into the end of the game. Did lead into the end of the game. Regardless, GG, well played. Maru does start things off with a win here, and that is going to lead us into our next game. Up next, we have another mirror matchup, but featuring 2 very different players. We're going to be jumping into a PvP between Showtime and Geralt. Let's go. Let us